In this video for section 2.3, we're going to talk about slope. What is slope? Slope is a measurement for a line. It measures how much a line changes in the vertical direction for every 1 unit increase in the horizontal direction. Another way to think about slope is rate of change. You also might hear rise over run as a way to think about slope. How do you calculate slope? There's a few ways that you can calculate slope. If you have a graph, you can count the change in y over the change in x. Another way to calculate the slope is using the slope formula. I'm going to write this with my drawing tablet because it's a little bit easier than typing. M is the letter that we use for slope, and it's equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where x1, y1, and x2, y2 are 2 points on the line. So let's look at an example here. You're going to click on this decimal link and it's going to bring up a calculator. It looks like this. The question is, what are the coordinates of the 2 points that are plotted? So as you can see, the points are listed in this table that's on the left. So we have x is -3, y is -1. I can also find the coordinates by clicking on those points like we've done previously. So the first point here is -3, -1. X is the horizontal axis, and so we are going to -3 in the horizontal direction and then down 1. Y is the vertical axis. Our second point is -2, +4, and so that's right here. So those 2 points, I'm going to type the coordinates in here. That was -3, -1. And -2, +4. Now we're going to use those coordinates to calculate the slope of the line that passes through the points. We'll start by doing this with our slope formula. So what I like to do when I'm using the slope formula is I like to label the points with x1 and y1, and I usually write this above, but you could also write it below. That makes it easy to see which point is which and easy for me to plug them into the formula. It doesn't matter which one you pick for point 1 and point 2. I usually just go in order of how they're written, but you don't have to. You should get the same answer. So now I'm going to plug these points into my formula. So m equals y2 is 4 minus y1. y1 is -1. Now you have to be careful when plugging in negative numbers here because there's a minus sign in my slope formula. So this is minus -1. It's easy to lose one of those minus signs, but make sure that you are paying attention to both. Minus -1 is going to change to +1. Then in the denominator, for x2 we have -2, and then minus x1, which is -3. Again, minus negative is going to change to plus. Now we'll go through and do the math here. 4 + 1 is 5. And -2 + 3 is +1. So that gives me a slope of 5/1, which is 5. Now if I look at my graphing calculator here, I can see that if I think about these 2 points, I'm going to count up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1, to get the next point that's on the line. And then if I count up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1, I land on the point that I have marked. So it is in fact true that the slope of the line going through those 2 points is going to be 5. Now what we're going to do is we're going to type this equation into the row below the table. And so the picture here shows where you're going to type it. It's a little bit easy to type in the wrong place. You don't want to type in this box where the table is. You want to type in this row that says row 2. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to type the equation. Copying and pasting generally doesn't work here. You have to type it. So I'm going to type, this is y1, and then find the squiggly on your keyboard. This is usually in the upper left corner of your keyboard, and then it's going to be ax1 plus b. So finish typing that. Notice it is putting the subscripts in automatically for these little ones, and there is my line. So here's my line that it's making through those 2 points. That's what this command is doing, is it's essentially making a line of best fit. If you only have 2 points, then your line of best fit is just a line going through those 2 points. So the question is, what are the values of A and B? So looking at what I have here, A is 5, B is 14. And then the next question is, what does the value of A tell you about the graph? So the value of A is the slope that we calculated. In this case, it was 5 that we calculated above. So A is the slope. Or in other words, for every 1 unit that I go to the right, my line is going up 5 units. B is 14. And for me to see where that shows up on the graph, I'm going to move it and zoom out just a little bit. So I can see 14 is right here. That is what is the y-intercept of the graph. So the y-intercept is at 14. So B is the y-intercept.